We're going to go a little deeper here, and I want to unfold what I think is the big secret that everybody's missing. And I did a course called The Missing Secret, an audio program, because people watched the movie The Secret and they read some of the self-help books and they read the book The Secret, and they would say, feels good, I tried it, it didn't work for me. And here's the missing secret. Here's what everybody needs to get, and I had to get it myself, is that what you're getting is a direct match to what you unconsciously believe and expect. This is really important because people are sitting there going, look, I'm writing affirmations, I'm doing my goals, I'm doing the business meetings, I'm in a mastermind, maybe I have a coach, whatever. But what they don't realize is that they're working on the surface level. They're working on the conscious level. And I was too. During that time that I was homeless, I was not somebody that was drinking or in drugs or doing anything that was abortive behavior. I was going for my dreams. I knew I wanted to be a writer. I was writing, but I wasn't getting published. And here's where I had to go, and here's where everybody that's listening or watching this has to go. You have to go into your belief system, in your unconscious, subconscious mind, to find out what the operating beliefs were. And I'm telling people right now, you have beliefs about money, you have beliefs about deservingness, you have beliefs about self-worth, you have beliefs about success, you have beliefs about failure, and those beliefs are hidden but operating. So we look around and go, oh, nothing's happening. Well, bull, we're getting exactly what we are wanting on an unconscious level, myself included. When I was homeless, I had no idea that I didn't want money in my life. I thought I wanted money. I wanted to write, and I wanted money from my writing. But I, like virtually everybody watching, had the belief money is the root of all evil. If you think money's evil, you're not going to want it in your life. You will say you want it, and you will do things to bring it, but you will unconsciously sabotage it, and you won't even know it. You'll blame everybody else. You'll say it's the president, it's the terrorist, it's the economy, it's the time of change, it's Mercury in retrograde, or whatever the latest fad is, blame it on. And those are all excuses. So in my case, and this is again where I think we all need to go, we got to look at our beliefs about success. Do we believe we deserve it? Do we believe it's possible for ourselves? Do we believe that success is actually good? Are we okay with money? Do we know that money is neutral, that we can use it to leverage to get our dreams and make our dreams come true? Do we like ourselves? So many of us don't think we're enough in some way, shape, or form, that we go around all the time thinking that nothing's going to happen for me because I'm not good enough. I'm not likable, I'm not lovable, I'm not smart enough, young enough, old enough, whatever the enough happens to be. So this is what I'm saying. Your question is so wonderful, and this is really the deep work that needs to be done for everybody. It looks like nothing's happening in your life, but you're actually having all kinds of things happen in your life. What you have happening, what you're calling nothing, is everything, and it's a match to your unconscious beliefs. That's the first observation. The second one is to go deeper to find out what might my beliefs be that would create this kind of experience. As you narrow in on the beliefs, now the third step would be to question them, change them, replace them, so that now you have more of an empowered mindset, and you can start to have, do, or be more of what you prefer in life.
Well, a habit is a redundant set of automatic, unconscious thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that's acquired through repetition. A habit is when you've done something so many times that your body literally knows how to do it better than your mind. Turns out, by the time we're 35 years old, we're a set of memorized programs. And so the body is functioning and the mind is unconscious. So then when there's crisis or there's trauma or there's disease or diagnosis or loss, the event sometimes causes people to feel so differently than themselves that they can finally see themselves through the eyes of somebody else. Now, that moment in neuroscience is called metacognition. This is the moment where we start paying attention to how we think. We start thinking about what we're thinking about. We start noticing how we're acting, how we're speaking. We start becoming aware of the emotions that we live by. And the moment you start observing those states of mind and body, you're no longer the program. You're the consciousness observing that program. And we begin to objectify our subjective self. In other words, you can't read the label when you're inside the jar. You got to get out of the jar to be able to see who you are. So most people wait for that moment where they feel so bad they could finally begin to make an effort to change. And of course, times are changing. And my message is, why wait? Why not just start creating a future every day and begin to think differently? You begin to act differently and begin to feel differently. And if you do that enough times, that becomes the new habit. We may not be able to control everything in our outer world, but we certainly can control our inner world. And so it's not so important to not react. I mean, everybody reacts, I react. The question is, how long are you going to react? So if you keep an emotional reaction going on for an extended period of time, you're memorizing that emotion, and your body, as the unconscious mind, is believing it's living in the same past experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The body doesn't know the difference between the real experience that produces the emotion and the emotion that we create by thought alone. So then the emotion then reaffirms the state, and then people start to use the problems and the conditions in their life to keep that emotion going, and I would call that an addiction. So we become addicted to the very life we don't even like. So it's important then for people to realize then, when you have that moment where you have crisis or something breaks down, that you do have control over it, and it's a formula and it's a skill, and our research shows that you can teach people how to do that. And so then when you're living by some emotion, there'll always be a gap between the way things appear and the way things really are. Emotions alter our perception. And if you act during that time, you'll always say the same thing. I should have never said that. I should have never done that. I should have never thought that. I should have never sent that email. So then shortening your emotional reactions is a level of intelligence then that causes you then to recalibrate. Because most people don't think they have control over that. They'll say, that person did it to me. That circumstance is the reason I am this way. Then I would say, if something in your outer environment is controlling your thoughts and feelings, then you're a victim to your environment. And yet, how you think and feel creates your outer world. So if you're thinking and feeling equal to everything that's known in your present personal reality, you keep creating more of the same. So to change then is to think and feel greater than the conditions in your environment. And to be able to do that to such a degree, then you're no longer reacting to the same people in the same way. And that takes an effort. It's not easy in the beginning. But once you start practicing, you get better at it. And just like anything else, you start to move through your life with more coherence, and you're less likely to knee-jerk. And if you're less likely to knee-jerk, then you're not in an unconscious program. I mean, everybody, I believe, has done something great in their life. Everybody's done something great. And what happened? You just got a wild idea, right? You got a vision of some possibility. You were struggling with your present circumstances, and all of a sudden you weren't so interested in checking your cell phone every 2 minutes. You weren't so interested in the dinner that you were supposed to go to, or person you usually call up and complain to. You start thinking and contemplating, is there a new way to do this? Is there a better way? What would it be like to be healthy, to be happy, to be free, to have a new career, a new relationship? The moment you ask that question, you turn on the creative center in your brain, your frontal lobe, the workshop. And the frontal lobe has connections to the entire landscape of the brain. And so it wants to answer that question. It's the forebrain. It's a place where we speculate possibilities, we invent, we have attention or intention. So that we say, what would it be like to have a new career? And the frontal lobe goes, okay, let's look to see what we have stored in the brain. I have a certain amount of knowledge and a certain amount of experience. And it begins to select these different networks of neurons and begins to call them up in relation to that question. And when the brain starts firing in tandem, all of a sudden you get a picture in your mind. That's called intention. You're selecting a new potential in the quantum field. Now, to the passionate person, the thought that they're having in their mind literally becomes the experience, and the end product of an experience is called an emotion. But now they're not feeling sadness or pain or suffering or fear. They're feeling gratitude, they're feeling inspired, they're feeling optimistic, they're feeling a heart-centered emotion. And when you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you're beginning to change your brain and body from living in the past-present reality to living in the future-present reality. And the stronger the emotion that you feel, the more you'll pay attention to the picture in your mind. And now you're beginning to emboss the circuitry in your brain, creating a long-term memory and emotionally conditioning your body into that future. And we could say then, you're remembering your future.